All right, it's 9:30, so I will call to order the Health and Human Services meeting of April 19th. Roll call, please.
Chair Renahan.
Here.
Vice Chair Swarzy.
Here.
Member Selman. Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Desart.
Here.
Member LaPlante.
Here. Great, we have a quorum. I understand we have one public comment.
We do. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is from Brent Stenhouse from Carroll Stream. Let's see. Subject is private landfills along St. Charles Road threaten public health. I reside in unincorporated Carroll Stream, where the trash along both the north and south sides of St. Charles Road between Bloomingdale and Schmally is more than a blight on the landscape. It's a public health and safety issue as it attracts vermin with diseases, and pedestrians routinely use both sides of the road to commute and to access public transportation. Comment: trash has accumulated so much in the last couple of years, it's as if the properties on either side of St. Charles Road are de facto landfills. The problem is particularly pernicious on the south side of St. Charles on the private property just west of the last apartment complex and just southeast of the Medina Horse Ranch.
That's it. I think we'll see that gets where it needs to go. Probably not the right committee, but we will make sure this gentleman's right. Okay. All right, great. With that, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, April 5th. Second. Motion and a second. Any additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are approved. I'll take a motion to approve FIR 018622, resolution acceptance appropriation of Illinois Department of Health Care and Family Services Access Visitation Grant, FY 23, $102,000 for community services. Get a motion
And a
in a
second.
second. Yes, and any questions or comments here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion to approve 2022-40 recommendation for approval of contract purchase order to MS Stevens to enter into an independent contractor agreement to provide case management assistance to senior services April 20th, 22 through September 30th, 2023, not to exceed $25,000. You have a motion and a second. Questions or comments here?
Yeah, I just had a question. I've not seen this before for this particular job, so I'm wondering why. Is this a position that we need to fill permanently? It looks like this. I know
This
this
is very short-term
contractor.
funding.
Oh,
It's
okay,
very
gotcha.
short-term funding. It's 16 months.
Yeah.
It's the Senior Services Division got an allocation of additional ARPA funds through the Area Agency on Aging. So we're doing a number of activities with it, but one of the things is that we needed to hire a short-term case management assistance, and so it was a better route to follow to go with an independent.
And not only is she short term, but she's not going to be full time. I mean, $25,000 for 16 months is not.
No.
Okay.
She'll be filling in sort of as needed and as she is able.
Okay. Thank you. I just don't recall ever seeing something like this before. So thank you, Mary. I appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
I'll just say, we have from time to time done these on very short-term basis. So oftentimes it's someone who was had completed an internship, and then we hired them on for like 2 months because someone was on FMLA or something like that. So this one's a little bit longer than we've done in the past, but it's specifically tied to that ARPA project.
Okay. Thank you.
It's like good to have extra outreach with our seniors, right? So with any other comments or questions here? All right, this is a roll call vote.
Okay. Member Chaplin.
Aye.
Member Desart.
Aye.
Member LaPlante.
Aye.
Member Selman. And Vice Chair Swarzy.
Aye.
And Member and Chair Renahan.
Aye. That passes. And moving on to Community Development Commission, I'll take a motion to approve HHSR 018722 resolution recommendation for approval of a modification to number 1 agreement HM 92-09 South Creek LLC clarifying continued use requirements for Maple Court Apartments and approval of subordination request.
Second.
The motion is second, and we're gonna call up Dave here to give us.
Apologize.
It's really
I know
going on.
nobody likes to do these day of modification, and I frankly could have managed the timeline and the information a little bit better. So I do apologize for that. So there are 2 documents in this item that we're talking about. One is an agreement modification. That one's fine. The second document is a subordination document. We had a couple of last minute changes that came in. One that I should have been aware of and was not, but our loan is in a trust deed, and so the title company has to consent to the approval, so that's a new signature page that you see in your packet. The other correction is related to the jurisdiction that any court would be tried in, or any potential disagreement with this agreement would be tried in, and so that is agreed by the state's attorney's office, but they wanted to formalize in here that it's DuPage County or the federal district in this area. And then the last change that I had was related to the resolution. So this modification just gives Mary the ability to sign this coordination agreement when it comes time. That just helps make sure the closing happens on schedule and it doesn't have to go through for the county board chairman's approval. So I should have had that in there as well. You would have to amend the item for today and then vote on the amended item, and then everything would be corrected before it goes to the county board on the 26th.
Has the state's attorney now seen this?
Yes, yeah, that language has been approved by the state's attorney's office.
So how do we, what's the motion to amend? How should we amend?
So we have to, I think you have to take a motion.
Yeah, I'll take a
amend.
motion to amend the 3 items that Dave McDermott just advised us on. This is the title, formalizing the ability for Mary to sign off.
So moved.
Second. Any questions for Dave here? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we've now amended the thing. Do we now have to approve the whole thing?
Vote on the whole. I think you have to vote on the amended item.
Yes.
So I will
As amended.
move to approve the item as amended.
Yes. All right. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions, additional questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Dave. Got through that one. All right, I'll take a motion to approve HHSR 018822, resolution recommendation approval of second modification to emergency solutions block grant agreement with Catholic Charities, project ES 20-03A. Purpose of homeless prevention and rapid rehousing, reducing the amount by $90, extending the project completion date through August 12, 2022. A motion, second, questions or comments here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I think a motion to approve HHSR 018922, resolution recommendation for approval of early release of the liens of properties at 4109 William Street, Downers Grove, and 5N641 Abilene Trail in Bloomingdale. Project HM 03-06 for rate grant. Motion, second, questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. DuPage Care Center, I'll take a motion to approve 2022-41 approval of a contract with Clairvoyant, for CV hosting for large database for the Care Center medical records, May 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2023, not to exceed $25,200.
Second.
A motion in a second. Questions here? Roll call, please.
Member Chaplin,
Aye.
member Desart,
Aye.
member LaPlante,
Aye.
Vice Chair Swarzy.
Aye.
And Chair Monahan.
Aye. That passes. I'll take a motion to approve a budget transfer. This is transferring monies from other contractual expenses to allow county FY22 Adobe Network ERP charges to come out of the corrected
Second.
budget line of software maintenance agreements for the Care Center, $34,281. Motion and a second. Questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion to approve authorization for overnight travel, weatherization assessors going to HVAC diagnostic refresher course in Champaign, June 12th through 15th, 2022, $540.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion on authorization for travel, also weatherization assessor to mobile home training course at Climate Research Training Center in Champaign, June 5th through the 9th, 2022, $685.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I'll take an authorization for overnight travel for our community services director to go to board of directors at the NACO in Anchorage, Alaska, May 16th through the 19th, 2022.
Second.
The director serves on the NACO board as an appointed representative. This is $2,755. We have a motion and a second. Questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. I'll take a motion to receive and place on file grant note proposal notification GPN 24-22 Access Visitation Program PY23, Illinois Department of Health and Family Services, $102,000 for community services.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Thank you. Questions here? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That will be received and placed on file. All right, we do have, what, 2 residency waivers
Correct.
today? All right, hi Janelle.
Hi, good morning. We have 2 more residency waivers, so we are happy that they keep coming in. We currently have 22 male beds and 35 female beds available at the care center. 2 beds were already offered to DuPage County residents, so there are no DuPage County residents being displaced by these applicants. So the first applicant is a 73-year-old female. They did live in DuPage County in Lombard from 2015 to 2016. The family works in Wheaton School District, and that would allow for daily visits.
All right, great. Do we have a motion to approve
So, second.
the first one? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions here? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Janelle. 1
Thank you.
down. Moving on to number 2.
The next would be a 90-year-old female. They have never lived in DuPage County. However, they're currently in subacute. The family has lived in Lombard, Glen Ellen, and currently in Wheaton. They're 5 minutes away from the care center, and this would allow for them to visit frequently. And also not having to change facilities would be a great benefit for this resident.
Great. Do I have a motion to approve this one? We have a motion and a second. Sounds like another good fit. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great. Thank you very much, Janelle.
Thank you.
Can move on to your update, please.
Sure, certainly. Good morning. I want to talk about COVID. We seem to be seeing some uptick. The county community transmission is now at level red or high. We just checked that yesterday. We have had 2 employees that have tested positive. However, they were not within the facility so many days prior, so they did not count against our outbreak status. So we're very happy that we did not have to go back under quarantine and reduce resident programming. We just started doing some resident dining in the dining room again. Obviously, we're doing garden programming with the master gardeners, and it's just been an absolute joy to see our residents back in spaces that have been so underutilized in the last 2 years. So we're very excited about that. We are really pushing again with hand washing audits. Infection control is something that is ever on our minds, and we talk about it frequently. Each director works on doing hand washing audits because that's such a key source of transmission. Just so you're aware of our attention to detail on this matter. Any questions related to COVID? I want to talk about our DuPage Care Center renovation. We met 2 weeks ago, and we did make a decision regarding phasing, meaning how many beds will we do at one time. We are going to do a whole unit at once. If we broke it up into smaller segments, the cost of breaking that up would be approximately $2 million. And so that would come right off of the project costs or available funds. So we have to be very strategic in moving residents around and to make sure we can close an entire unit at a time. We are meeting again tomorrow. We have an ongoing meeting. I'm hoping that we'll get some more renderings, and I would like to do a more formal presentation to this group in 2 weeks on, so hopefully you can see some drawings and things like that, and be a part of this renovation project. Any questions on that?
Vice Chair Schwarze.
Thank you, Janelle. Whole units at a time, how many people does that displace at a time?
If it's full, it's 56, but our units are running around 47 to 50. It doesn't, it just makes them move for 3.5 months to another space.
Okay.
Yep.
That was my next question is how long
Yeah.
per unit, and about 3.5 months. So thank you.
Yeah, we have a meeting. We have a full resident council meeting, but then we also have a resident executive council that we meet with, and that's approximately 12 residents. And so we met with them yesterday at our normal meeting, and we started to bring this topic up. And oh my goodness, because they have to kind of purge their space first and clean it up. And so when they move, they have less to move, and it opened up an entire dialogue of, well, can I keep this? And can I keep this? And so we're like, it's okay. We're going to work together. This is a long process, but it helps to start early. But yeah. Thank you.
Member Jeff?
Yeah, thank you. Janelle, thanks so much for the update on that. I'm so excited to see the plans and the drawings. So I really look forward to that. And I was going to ask how the residents, what their feelings were about the renovations, because it is maybe a little hard for them to kind of move out of their room for a little bit. But I think if they understand that, they're going to be making it really nice, I was
Right.
just their feelings were.
Right, yeah, they, of course, they're gonna think about their personal things first and foremost. And
Mhm.
so until they start seeing it, they'll be much more excited. Now they're just kind of like, wait a minute, what? Which is not unusual.
Yeah.
But yes, we are trying to touch every space in the care center. We're being very efficient. Like where we can reuse ceiling tracks and just replace tiles, we're doing that. But my goal is to really do the resident rooms, the nurses stations, because of the footprint that the staff have to take just to, maneuver around the nurses station. So it's those key pieces. How can we improve efficiencies for the staff, and how can we improve quality of home life for our residents? And then the other areas will just be upgrades or updates as we're able.
Very excited. Good job.
It is very exciting, very exciting.
Anyone else? So Janelle, I mean, this had to have come up. Who gets to go in the remodeled rooms first?
I don't want to say, where we're planning to start, because I'll get 1,000 phone calls potentially,
Yeah,
but
right?
it's based on the construction manager and the architects and what fits. Where do we, so if we just start at a floor and we work our way down, or we work our way up before moving to another unit, the goal would be to put those people back. But again, there's no guarantees at this point. That's our goal, is to get them back to their prior room after that 3.5 months.
I'm sure there's a lot of opinions.
There will be. It's just begun, but I can't say enough what a blessing it is. It's just like the handrails are so brittle and dry, and they're clean, but they're pretty beat up.
Great, thank you, Janelle. Anything else, or?
Just one more thing. So recruitment, we had a recruitment meeting with HR. We came up with some additional strategies from virtual fairs and working with different vendors to assist us with that, walk-in interviews, on-the-spot interviews. So we did a lot of different things before our last job fair. Our job fair was, I think we ended up with maybe 4 candidates from that job fair, which isn't a lot, but I would take anyone I can get. We're still get staff from word of mouth, and we're trying to build enough participants to do another CNA class. I think we have 4 interested parties, and we certainly want to do a few more than 4. So that is a big topic. There's a lot of big topics: COVID, recruitment, renovation. Those are the ones that we're establishing reoccurring meetings, and just to make sure we're trying to stay ahead.
Great, well, thanks for all you do, Janelle.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, great. Let's move on to community services. Let's see, Mary Keating.
Speaking of big topics,
All right.
we have a lot of big things this year as
Great
well.
topic.
Before I get to the transformation partnership, I want to update you on a couple of other things. The first thing, incredibly great news out of the state, is that the state budget this year for the first time includes funding to help launch and support 211 across the state. And so that's really going to help us as we're not quite sure how much funding we'll get and when we'll get it, but it certainly helps us as we plan for the sustainability of 211 after the expiration of the ARPA funds, and potentially even saving some of the ARPA funds to use for other purposes. So that's great news from the state budget. A reminder, Giving DuPage Days are coming up May 2nd through the 6th. We have about 95 agencies participating. That's the online countywide, community-wide fundraising effort that Giving DuPage supports on behalf of any nonprofit that wants to participate. The goal this year is to raise over $500,000. So we're very excited about that coming up. And then one thing I wanted to show you, our newest outreach coordinator, who was funded with ARPA funds, came up with this idea for a table card. We're going to maybe put them into table tents, to put a QR code. So folks can just scan, and then it takes you to a little survey, asks your name and contact information, and then do you want information on senior services, energy assistance, housing supports, So it's a great way, if you're out in the community, just set that on the table and folks can get connected to us. So,
That is a great idea.
yeah, it's a great
That is a
idea.
great idea.
Right. So kudos to the outreach staff.
Why did we think of that?
I don't know, but
Why did we-
this QR code is so popular and so in
Right.
right now that when I was at a conference in January, a woman had her QR code on her mask for her business. So I mean, we've got to start using these QR
Right.
codes. They're
Yeah,
amazing.
so we're pretty
I'm
excited
not
about
doing
that.
that.
Okay, on to the transformation partnership. So there's been a lot going on. I want to first acknowledge the work of the planning committee. Absolutely, Barbara Paniak from DuPage Foundation is really, she's doing, the yeoman's work of pulling this all together. But Member Renahan and myself, as well as the chair and vice chair of the foundation's grants committee, and a retired executive director from a DuPage nonprofit, formed the planning committee for the partnership. We held 2 information sessions in mid to late March, and there were about 120 attendees at those information sessions, with the guidelines for the immediate intervention grants being released immediately thereafter. So the planning committee came up with the concept of really kind of developing 2 separate grant programs. The first, known as intermediate intervention. We thought it was very important to get funds out as quickly as possible, but we also wanted to have an opportunity for agencies to really think about those really transformational programs, systems changes, capacity building, program development, the kinds of things that aren't just an immediate, fill out this grant to help to continue doing what you currently do. So the immediate intervention grants are the first round. The letters of intent were due on April 15th. There were 48 letters of intent that were submitted. 6 of the agencies were pretty much immediately determined to be ineligible for various reasons. So 48 applications totaling just under 3.5 million. And remember, we have $10 million for 5 years, and these are for 1-year grants. So the review committee will be getting together a week from Thursday. So between now and a week from Thursday, we will all have read all of the letters of intent, and we'll be making determinations on which agencies will proceed to the full application. We'll be making it very clear to those agencies that that's not a guarantee of funding. It's just we'd like to hear more. With the intention of then the applications being due May 27th, and the awards will be announced in late June. And of course, we'll be working closely with the communications office to make sure that that is a joint announcement that comes from the county and the foundation. Just a little bit more about the immediate intervention grants. Obviously, everything has to fall into one of the 4 buckets that was approved by the board, which is food insecurity, housing instability, mental health, and substance abuse services. We had really good Q&A during the information sessions. Organizations who don't work in that area but said, well, our programs can help with mental health or can help with, so the way we framed it was, whatever you propose, you must have measurable impact in one of the 4 program areas. So if you're making the case that you do something that's not in one of those areas and it impacts those areas, you have to show us how you intend to measure that impact. The agencies have to have at least 50% of their clientele have to be DuPage residents. If they serve a larger area, so an organization like Metropolitan that serves the Chicago area, if you serve a larger area, you have to have either a facility located in DuPage County or an existing advisory board, focus group, some sort of organization that helps direct your programming specifically within DuPage. Let's see. So the idea now is that once the agencies are working on their applications for the immediate intervention grants, the planning committee will get together and start talking about the transformational grants. we'll be doing information sessions similar to that. With the goal of the LOIs for the transformational grants due in early June. Again, notified probably by the end of June if they've been, if they're being invited to complete a full application. And then I think in September is the, September 15th being the deadline for those applications and October being the, again, the announcements for that. I think the planning committee, I think Member Renihan would agree, it's some really thoughtful work. I'm really excited about kind of the two-tiered process because we struggled with, well, we don't want to, we don't want to wait to get this funding out, but we also want agencies to have the opportunity to really do thoughtful planning. And so we kind of splitting the difference. We did not identify what percentage of funds would go towards immediate versus transformational. I think the goal is that the majority of the funding will go towards transformational grants because that's the idea here is let's see what long-term impacts we can make. Can we do systems change? Can we work on collaborations to really, really move the needle on many of these issues? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and back you up. I mean, really experts on this planning committee. I mean, I'm there kind of just to watch guardrails in terms of the 4 rubrics that we had, set up as a board. I'm not on the decision-making panel. I didn't think that was appropriate for someone from the county board to be able to have a favorite. So Mary is, doing as she always does, going through the professional requirements of, do they meet? Can they handle it? Can they perform it? So very proud of the work that's already getting done very quickly.
I will also say I have been incredibly impressed with the 2 members of the grants funding committee from the foundation. I mean, these are folks who are community volunteers, but the thoughtfulness that they bring to the process, the level of expertise that they have in the process is really, they're really a pleasure to work with.
Yes.
Thank you. With regards to the review committee, so what's the process after they go through the letters of intent and establish these meet the criteria and so forth? Does it come here next or does it go straight to the county board next? Or is
No, the awards are
that's the final?
Yes, the
Okay.
foundation is the final, it has the final decision making on all of the grants. We, as I said, we'll work very closely with the communications office and the foundation. They're co-branding everything about this, but no, the board will not be voting on
Okay.
on the grant awards. The board will absolutely be notified.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mary, anything else with community services?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Exciting times, right?
Oh, I will say, well, actually, I'm being facetious. There's so much going on. It's great. We're really excited. We're moving forward on the playground over at the family center. Kind of, identified what equipment there's going to be. The staff, Sheila and Tori are, just so excited. Sheila, in particular, I think because she's been with the family center for so long, has always wanted to have some sort of outdoor space for the families to use. And so, again, that's an ARPA funded project, and we're super excited to move forward. We're also moving forward this fall on our reconfiguration of our entire intake space. So we will finally have both. We'll finally have both safe and private interview space for our clients and our staff. So it's 2022. That's what year it is, right? 2022 is just going to be a banner year for us. There's just so many exciting things.
Member Rosak?
Thank you, Mary, for everything. That letter about the trash, could that get transferred to the transportation department?
Yeah, I wasn't sure we'll go to transportation and public works, but yeah, we'll send it to.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
You can handle both of those.
Pardon?
You can handle both of those committees for us.
Well, I think transportation, so thank you.
Sure,
Thank you.
thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mary.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mary. Any old business? Any new business? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. You're adjourned.
Thank you.